This book was conceived in a myth, inspired by a weariness, and commissioned by a hope. First, the myth. It was a warm September Sunday morning when I joined a friend at his Presbyterian church and watched a black-robed minister mount his pulpit to begin the lesson for the day. What followed was a fine sermon, evidence both of the pastor's great learning and of his love for the people before him. Then, as he leaned into his conclusion, the pastor told a story. It was the tale of Arthur Guinness, founder of the famous brewing family, and of how in the mid-1700s he had walked the streets of Dublin pleading with God to do something about the drunkenness on the streets of Ireland. It seems that whiskey and gin were the rage in his day, and the resulting devastation to his nation was more than young Arthur could stand. It was then, as he held this scourge of alcohol aloft in prayer, that Arthur heard his God speak. "Make a drink that men will drink that will be good for them." And so, according to the learned Presbyterian parson, Guinness beer became God's answer for the moral blight of that time and all, because Arthur Guinness was willing to listen and obey. The sermon was a tour de force, yet when I heard the minister's tale of God and Arthur Guinness, I knew it just wasn't true. It was a fiction spun from the precious few facts we know about the founder of the Guinness clan, and I knew as much because I had been studying the life of Arthur for quite some time. In visiting with the minister after the service, I learned that he had come across the story on the Internet, and was so touched by it that he decided to share it with his congregation as evidence that God can use mundane things for his purposes. And he can, and he has likely even used beer, as we shall see, but still the story isn't true. It is evidence of Mark Twain's insistence that a lie can run around the world before the truth can get its pants on, a maxim more true in an Internet age than at any time in history. Clearly, as this bit of misinformation makes its way from website to website, it is proof of our modern tendency to embellish the already miraculous, to help God out by putting a faster spin on his great works of old. But this is to our generation's loss, for the truth of Arthur Guinness is as noble a tale and as much about devotion to God as anything the myth pretends. This genuine story is both thrilling and tender, too, even without dramatic myths about voices from heaven and beer brewed in answer to the moral crisis of an age.